Hey Dreamers, Bryce here from Midnight Notion, singer-songwriter, musician, and a big fan of Metallica. I spent 115 days grading every single song in their catalog so far, and I still have a few ties to break. So, let's break those ties today in the battle for 28. Cue the intro.
So Ted, give it to me now!
For the best Metallica song! Damage Inc. versus All Nightmare Long. These two are both very thrashy songs. They're both very fast, very fun to play, very fun to listen to. So we're going to pit them together using the following criteria: structure, flow, melody, engagement, and lyrics. And then at the end of the video, we'll find out who the winner is. But first, we need you to hit that subscribe button, because if you hit that subscribe button, I heard that there will be no damage done to your car. I can't guarantee what would happen if you don't hit subscribe. It's not a threat. I can't guarantee anything. Let's do this thing. Woo! Round one, structure. Let's start off with Damage Inc. We've got a nice, sad little bass intro that kind of winds its way in. And then I'm going to call this the hook. I don't know if you would actually call this the hook. There might be a different riff in here you might call the hook, but these hits come throughout the song, and so I'm calling it the hook for now. Leading into the main riff, leading into the verse, which of course goes into the chorus, which is very, very short. You could argue that da 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 at the very end is the hook, but there's another hook on the end. The hook, those hits that I was talking about from the intro, are back again very shortly, and then right away into the verse again, and right away into the chorus. We're just speeding through this song. Then we have a nice little breakdown here, a little guitar riff here, goes halftime groove with the drums when everything comes in. Add in a bridge verse on top of it, a little singing, and then a nice quick solo going all over the place. We explore all the different varieties that there is to that. We got fast, we got breakdowns, we got little homages to the chorus, and then we come back to that breakdown again, but with full band going thrash instead of halftime. And then we go into a verse, a final chorus with a little bit of a different ending to it, and then our final hook. And it's not even the full hook, it just stops abruptly. So quick song, really fast, really fun. And once again, if we take out all the guitar work, the structure is really just verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. Ab cab, here we go. Basic structure, you see it in almost every song. Nothing super unique. The only thing that really stands out is their use of the hits for that hook and the ba 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 coming throughout the solo and through the end of the chorus and kind of leading into it. That happens throughout the song, so it's nice. Let's talk about All Nightmare Long. We start off with this nice little drum pattern and this clean guitar. I'm calling this the intro, but pay attention, this riff comes back. Then we've got what I'm just going to call a new riff, because this riff, again, is coming back, but it's not the main riff, because this is the main riff. Da, 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 the Shadows of the Cross riff. Then we go into the verse where our luck runs out. We get some singing. It builds up. It starts real slow, and then it builds up to quarter note snare hits. And then we've got the main riff again. We've got the chorus, which is going to hunt you down all nightmare long. We've got that new riff from the intro again, but this time the thrash version of it, which goes back into the main riff. So I guess you could call the new riff and main riff together as one, but it breaks apart in different sections of the song. So I'm calling them separate riffs for now. We got another verse, we got another main riff, another chorus, and then we go into the solo, which starts with some hits, some slow. You could call it a breakdown, but the solo is going on top of it. And then we explore a lot of different things. We go up and down throughout the key signature, and we end it with some hits. And then we come into, I guess we'll call this the bridge. There's no real, I don't know what else to call it. It's just the bridge, which builds into another solo, oddly enough, which comes down to a different bridge, question mark? I guess you could call this a brand new bridge. It's different from the first bridge. I don't have a new name, I guess breakdown maybe? And then we've got the bridge verse, which leads into a full stop and our final chorus, a big ending with that new riff again, a callback to the intro. This is now an electric version of it. It's not a copy-paste. It's now distorted, not electric, but distorted instead of clean. And then we have the outro, which is comprised of all kinds of riffs. It's kind of intermixed from all the riffs before. We got little seeds of the main riff mixed with some of the other parts of the song in the verse, and so on and so forth. So it's a cool little end to the song. Let's see. Once again, if we take out all the riffs, we have verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. So again, the only difference here is that this song, unlike Damage Inc., doesn't have a third verse. It goes straight from that bridge verse back to another chorus and the outro. So altogether, very, very similar structures. This is going to be the dilemma for almost every single song because, I mean, when you look at it, almost all of them are verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. How do you decide? And just by adding another verse, does that mean the structure is better? Not necessarily. So then we have to go into time signature changes and tempo changes and all of those things. And the difference between these is that Damage Inc. has that nice, soft, sad bass intro, and All Nightmare Long also has sort of a softer intro, but it builds and builds. All Nightmare Long uses a lot of different like hooks that come back. Bump, 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 bump. That little hit right there and from right in the early part of the song gets used throughout the song. We got the same thing with Damage Inc. Bump, bump, bump comes throughout the bam, 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 bam. Those hooks come over and over and over throughout the song. So I don't know how to decide. So it comes down to, I find that there are more riffs and more things to find interesting in the song All Nightmare Long. So the winner of this round, All Nightmare Long. Round 2, flow. Now the problem with having a song with a lot of riffs and it's really long in length is that it is a lot more difficult to flow between each riff. Now, I think All Nightmare Long does a great job of this. They flow almost seamlessly, but you have to look at the whole song. In each new riff, there's sort of a setup riff, if you will. When you think of storytelling or maybe screenplays, if you watch a movie, a lot of times you don't just start a scene with somebody talking. First, they'll show the town, they'll pan across the city, and then the camera looks down, you see the car, and then you see the people in the car. That's called an establishing shot. It lets us know where we are. And sometimes in a song, when you introduce a new riff, you can't just go right into the riff because it doesn't match with the previous riff. Sometimes you have to add just a couple measures of da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and that's what All Nightmare Long does throughout the song. They have a riff that maybe climbs up to the next step, and in order to do that seamlessly, they have to add some space to sort of set the scene. When you compare that to Damage Inc., this song flows. Yes, the bass intro doesn't fit with the rest of the song, maybe, but after the music, after all band members enter the song, it just goes and does not stop. There's a little break for that bridge where we kind of go into that halftime groove and it gives us a breath of fresh air, and then it speeds up again after that. And for me, it's just hard to ignore how just perfectly seamless that song is. The winner for flow, Damage Inc. Melody. When you compare the two, the first one that came out obviously was Damage Inc. on Master of Puppets. Look at the way that James is singing on that song. It's going to be hard to compare that to, 20, 30 some years later when All Nightmare Long came out. He's already much, much better at singing. So when you look at the notes he uses, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Damage Incorporated. It's very linear. He stays kind of just on that one note. Compare it to All Nightmare Long. Crawl through the wreckage one more time, a raving memories. He stays here, but hallucination. He goes all over the place, and then hunt you down without mercy. I'm singing all the wrong notes, but I'm just saying that song is catchy as heck. So the winner for melody, in my opinion, All Nightmare Long. Round 4, engagement. This is another difficult one because neither of them really lend themselves well to sing-along parts except for one little bit. In All Nightmare Long, we have luck runs out. And that happens throughout the song. It's very fun to sing that. Luck runs out. Your luck runs out. And then also it's really fun to sing the chorus of All Nightmare Long, but it is admittedly something you're not going to catch on to your first time listening. It's catchy, but the words don't stick as much when you first hear it. And we can't compare it. It's really difficult to compare Engagement with Metallica because the Metallica fans, are super, super dedicated. They're going to memorize everything. If you compare the first performance of Damage Inc. with the first performance of All Nightmare Long, I bet you anything, the crowd already knows the words for both first performances. It's very difficult because we're dedicated people. We love this band. So it's hard to gauge. So then we look for moments of, hey, hey. So really, when I compare these two, I think All Nightmare Long has the luck runs out, but not much else until you learn the words. There's maybe some hey moments, but that's not really much. With Damage Inc., it's the same thing. The words in the verse come at you so quick. Blah, 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 that it's hard to kind of pick up on what they are. But the thing that they do differently in Damage Inc. is they have a full stop at the end of the chorus, Damage Incorporated. And it's only 2 words. Yes, it's a handful of syllables. It's more than luck runs out. But that full stop gives you permission to do it. And even though there's only 3 choruses, they add that hook again just before the solo. So you actually get 4 chances to sing it out loud and proud. In my opinion, Engagement goes to Damage Inc. Round 5, lyrics. Let's take a look at Damage Inc. first. Everybody contributed to this one, it looks like. I don't want to get too much into rhyme scheme. Once again, this song has 3 verses and a bridge and 3 choruses. Damage Incorporated is very simple. Blood will follow blood. Dying time is here. Damage Incorporated. Note that there is no rhyme whatsoever in the chorus. I mean, blood is the same words. It's not really a rhyme. This is just a statement. Blood will follow blood. Dying time is here. Damage Incorporated. Nothing to this. There's no real message. It's just a warning. It's just a heads up. You're about to die. And that's kind of a cool chorus. It's short. It's to the point. It gets the point across. There's no need to just hammer out every word you can possibly think of. I think that's really cool. Let's look at the verses. We got a BB. 1, submission, trend, end. So the second line is always going to rhyme with the first line throughout. Back, sure, cure, excuse, use, all. Yeah, that goes all the way through. So let's take a look at what they're trying to say. Dealing out the agony within, charging hard and no one's going to give in. Living on your knees, conformity, or dying on your feet for honesty. This is very intriguing to me. There's a lot of imagery in here that feels very... like war and propaganda and mind control and sort of people taking over for the wrong reason, right? Bloody but never cry submission, following our instinct, not a trend, go against the grain until the end. Is this talking about war? Is it talking about, are they inventing some sort of a post-apocalyptic event? Just a random story they came up with. Very interesting. Here's some interesting words. Life ain't for you and we're the cure, right? Life ain't for you and we're the cure. This, to me, I don't know. They've had a lot of stuff, especially in this album, actually. In Master of Puppets, we have a lot of stuff about, the disposable heroes being sent off to war. Life ain't for you. You don't get to live your life. You follow your orders. We're the cure, right? We, as in the Republic, the army, the puppeteers, if you will. Victim is your name, and you shall fall, right? You're just part of the machine, right? You're being sent off to war. You don't have a name, and you will probably be put on the front lines, and that's just how it's going to be. Somebody attacked us, so we're going to attack them, and it's time for war. Damage Incorporated, right? There's a million ways, I'm sure, to read out these lyrics, but that's what I'm getting. Some form of control, either by government or by militia or something like that. The only, I think, knock that I can give to this song is that because of how many words they have here, one thing I always look for when I'm writing lyrics is how words go from one to the next, how they roll off the tongue. And some of these words can kind of get you tripped up. If you're not very good at tongue twisters, you have trouble saying some of these words. So I like to look at, are you going from a consonant to a vowel, to another consonant to another vowel, or are you going from consonant to consonant? So damaged jackals ripping right through you. Ripping right through you. Ripping right through you. Imagine if ripping of, right, from G to of. I'm not saying that's the right way, but I'm saying from a hard letter like a G, that's a consonant, going into a vowel might be a better way. Like smell of this, right? Smell of. L is a consonant, O is a vowel. So they go smell of. This flows really nicely together. Tear it from your soul in nightly hunt. It's okay, it flows fine, but just, beware when you're doing a song that has lots of words in it, make sure that each word flows from one to the next smoothly. And I think this song does mostly, but there are a couple hiccups throughout. Blood follows blood, right? Follows blood. Follows blood. Say it out loud. Follows blood. Blood follows blood. There's kind of like a hiccup in between. The space in between the words is kind of hard to get over. Blood follows, right? Duh. There's a duh in the middle. Blood follows. Blood of follows, right? It depends on what words you're using, how well it flows from your mouth. So with a fast song like this, you want to be careful of which words you use when. Let's take a look at All Nightmare Long. We have a lot more to read, I guess, on this one because the choruses are a little bit more involved. Here, sometimes on their websites, they have the full chorus and they retype the entire thing a second and third time. And sometimes they write it once and you have to just remember that's the chorus. So that's very interesting. The theme throughout this song is luck runs out, right? We have periods here. Luck runs out, right? And that comes throughout the song, right? Luck runs out. Luck runs out. How many times does it happen in this song? Multiple times. Your luck runs out, right? That's the theme of the song. It's kind of the hook. And it happens throughout. That's a very, very interesting way to start off a song with something that's going to return multiple times. It's a great way to make it memorable. I've always wondered about this first verse. Crawl from the wreckage one more time. Horrific memory twists the mind. Dark, rutted, cold, and hard to turn. Path of destruction, feel it burn. All right. I've always wondered if this verse has something to do with Cliff Burton's death. If the horrific memory of when they were in the dark and it was cold out and there was ice on the road and it was hard to turn, right? The wreckage of the bus created a horrific memory because still life, right? Dead person, still life, right? I find it very interesting how much this could be Cliff Burton's death. Now, I'm not saying that it is, and I think that there are other things out there that say what it's really meant to describe. If you watch the video, it's apparently about some sort of monster zombie disease or something. But it's very interesting that your nightmares can hunt you down and really kind of ruin your life, right? You crawl back in, but your luck runs out, right? You crawl back into bed, maybe you try to go to sleep, but your nightmares keep haunting you with every single day. The light that is not light is here to flush you out with your own fear. You hide, but will be found. Release your grip without a sound. Again, yeah, this is just someone who's really struggling with reality, and they're trying to escape reality by going to sleep. Potentially, this is what I'm reading, and unfortunately, in their sleep, their nightmares are hunting them all nightmare long. And I think that there's a lot of stuff to celebrate about this. Now, the downside, since I had a downside to Damage Inc., I should mention my downside to All Nightmare Long, is that there are some words in here that are kind of, I don't know, you hide, but will be found. I mean, it's okay. We're just repeating you hide, but will be found. I don't know. It's a fine sentence. It's not terrible, but I've seen, brand new songwriters write things like this. So it doesn't have that poetic nature that some of their other works do have. So, and then also, then you crawl back into your obsession. Never to return, this is your confession. This feels a lot to me like a rhyme for obsession, right? They wanted to write into your obsession, and then they're like, what rhymes with obsession? I don't know. Confession. Okay, I guess this is your confession. I don't think that this line right here, this is your confession, really adds to the story of the song. I think it's a placeholder line, in my opinion. Now, does that mean that this song is a terrible song, it's poorly written, they should delete it? Absolutely not. I'm just saying sometimes you run out of words, and that's totally okay. Gotta point it out. So we got a song about violence and we've got a song about nightmares. It's very difficult to choose which one because they both have pros and cons. Both of them have really cool imagery and maybe some sloppy word choices throughout. It's difficult to decide, so unfortunately I gotta go with my gut. This is a search for my favorite Metallica song, and I love the word dreams. And anytime you can get dreams or nightmares into your subject matter, it's a thumbs up from me. Winner, All Nightmare Long. And so, with a score of 3-2, All Nightmare Long takes the win with 28th place and Damage Inc. in 29th place. Now it's your turn. In the comments below, tell me which song wins each round for you using my criteria and which song wins overall. Did I get it right, or did you think that Damage Inc. deserved a little bit more credit? Let me know, but be kind about it because we're all fans of the band. We don't need to argue here. Make sure you check out my music. Midnight Ocean is available all over the internet, and please, please, please share my music with your friends. Not just my YouTube content, but my actual music. Trying to get my originals out there. I've got plenty of Damage and nightmare-related songs for you to listen to. And of course, smash that subscribe button because tomorrow we're battling for 21st place. It's a three-way tie between Through the Never, King Nothing, and Moth into Flame. Who do you think's gonna win? There's only one way to find out. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. You're awesome.